Town officials are preparing the budget for fiscal 15. State Representative Randy Hunt files a new bill he hopes will combat drug addiction in the Bay State. Plus, it's time for Cape Cod Community College students to register for classes. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Monday, December 16th, 2013. I'm Sarah Mannel. Budget planning is in full swing in the town of Barnstable. Department heads recently submitted budget plans that will now be reviewed by a town budget team, according to town manager Tom Lynch.
Well, we have a budget team of Bob O'Brien, who's our budget director, and Mark Milne, our finance director, Mark Ells and myself, who will work on the capital improvement plan along with all of the department heads. So they submitted some time ago all of their capital requests. And when they're doing this, they're really doing it to cover fiscal year 15, which will start on July 1st, 2014, right through a 5-year plan through 2019. So it's often that we will design something or begin the planning process and then be looking at funding out into future years. So we try to plan ahead in terms of naturally the dollars and try to figure out how much money you're going to be able to have to fund capital projects. And viewers may recall that last year the towns and schools contributed monies into our capital trust fund so that we could have a fairly robust program should we need that over the next 5 years. And our recent bond package where we put out for bonds about $6.3 million. That covered a lot of the projects from last year that were either needed construction or design. So when we look at the accounts, the first thing we're looking at is, whether this is a general fund account or whether it's an enterprise account.
Lynch says it will be a busy week this week with the budget team meeting with various town departments and committees.
We're also trying to coordinate with the Community Preservation Committee, and to that extent, we've had a couple of meetings with Lindsay Council, the chair, and the committee has asked us to, knowing that there might be some historical preservation projects that are out there or some housing projects that we may be participating in, saying, all right, what is it that we could fund and what would that leave for you to pick up the slack on? So we're trying to use a variety of funding sources so that we can spread the money as far as we can. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that the first item that the town council has been very good about funding over the last, I believe, 7 or 8 years now is our public roads program.
Yes.
So we put $3.25 million into that so that we can continue to improve our public roads throughout the town. So this week we're going to be meeting with the police and IT and community services and DPW again, regulatory services and growth management. So it'll be a busy week of meetings just around the capital project. We'd like to be in pretty good shape come the first of the year to have a general idea of where we're going.
Lynch says the capital budget will be finalized early next year, sometime in February. The town of Barnstable is making great strides in reducing its energy consumption. Energy coordinator Richard Alrick says West Village's elementary school is a great example of these efforts.
We've got a wonderful view of the downward trend that the energy efficiency measures that have been undertaken there have, you can see, made a difference. Again, David Anthony is responsible for most of the energy efficiency improvements at the schools. And there you can see the data has gone from a high of about 500,000 kilowatt hours down to only 361,000 kilowatt hours in the most recent fiscal year. Just a couple of other of these charts I wanted to show you. Town Hall, if you've got that one. This one's a little bit different. There is an overall general downward trend that you can see, but we had a spike in 2011, and I haven't quite gotten to the bottom of what accounted for that spike. But again, you can see the general trend is where we want it to be, which is downward with more energy efficiency improvements.
Alrick says the town will continue to look for ways to reduce energy consumption and cut down on electric bills.
And we haven't really tackled one of the most significant factors in reducing energy use, and that's human behavior. We haven't really undertaken, I think, a strong program among staff to try to get us to reduce energy from that perspective. And I anticipate that we'll do that moving forward in the next months and year or so, because that's really ultimately where you can have another significant difference in addition to energy efficient light bulbs and that sort of
Elric says energy efficiency measures will also be impacted by several solar projects across town, including the 4-megawatt project at the transfer station that should be complete next spring. State Representative Randy Hunt hopes a bill will help reduce drug-related crimes and recidivism rates across the Bay State. Hunt filed a new bill he calls the ASSIST Act. Hunt says the ASSIST Act stands for Addiction/Sobriety Solutions through Increased Substance Treatment.
At the crux of this bill is that we need to take a look at what are we doing now with respect to addiction treatment, and is that sufficient, and where should we go with it? And we already know that the answer is we do not have enough services available to treat addicts and get them on the road to long-term recovery. And part of what these other states have been doing over the last several years is diverting people from jail who are nonviolent offenders in order to get them the treatment that they actually need and to resolve some of the addiction issues that are right at the root of what is going on that put them into the court in the first place.
The House of Representatives Rule Committee will look over the bill before assigning it to a committee. Hunt says he expects that to happen sometime this week.
The committee that will hear it first will be the Mental Health and Substance Abuse Committee, of which I am a member, and the entire bunch of us have been talking about this issue for the last 6 or 8 months very actively, so I expect that we will move the bill through that committee very swiftly. And after that, we just need to chase it down and make sure that it gets a vote before the session ends on July 1st of 2014, and I fully expect that we'll be able to do that.
And of course, we will keep you updated as the ASSIST Act progresses through the state legislature. Registration for Cape Cod Community College's spring semester is now open. Spokesperson Michael Gross says now is the time for prospective students to start planning for the future and look into some of the college's programs.
I realize during the holidays it's so easy to say, well, I'll do that after the first of the year. But really, that period between Christmas and New Year's, the period now before we really get to the holiday, those periods, there are some dead spots in there. It's very, very important to get things started, especially if you'd like to be a new student. We have some great accelerated training programs. You can get in and get training and certificates and degrees much faster than you might think. And the world today is clearly looking for a credential, and we can offer it to you either to start a new job or, in fact, to advance in one. It is time, pardon me, it is time. You really should come, talk to our admissions people, get in the door, go through the assessment process to determine where it would be best for you to start. And you also want to talk, I think, about some programs that you may not have known about. There are a variety of them prepared to put you right into the workplace. And I think that's another aspect of the community college, that at times people know us for being a phenomenal pathway into higher education for those who want to transfer. But for those who really are in the workplace, need to learn job skills, want to upgrade their skills, everything from accounting and business functions to medical secretary and office work, all kinds of different elements in that administrative realm. Those are things now in our accelerated career training program you can do in half the time you used to be able to.
To learn more about Cape Cod Community College's programs and registration, you can visit capecod.edu. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.